And what he had to do, I think, was just deal with the fact that everyone sort of said, this isn't very pretty. Why aren't we dominating games? How comes Croatia are playing us off the park? You know, all of that typical arrogance that went with it. And I think he's finally got to the point where he can turn around and say to people, we're just trying to get results. We're just trying to win matches. And look, it works.
But you see, but to me, that's what's so curious, Hugh, because first of all, he's not the first one to try to be defensive. I mean, I thought Roy Hodgson's teams were defensive to the point of tears in many ways. And that obviously didn't work either. And I'm just talking purely about the tactics. In terms of approach, I think we all agree Southgate's been absolutely fantastic. And it hasn't been easy for him to do that. And I think I personally will forever admire him for what he's done there. But equally, isn't it a bit counterintuitive that you say, okay, we'll just focus on the results of being defensive, when every other team, except for France and one or two others, actually tries to play football. And on top of that, you have this incredible group of attacking players who don't get on the pitch because you've chosen to play this way. From Sancho, Foden, arguably the most naturally gifted England player, Rashford. I mean, you know who these guys are. You don't need me to tell you, right? And in the end, you played Sterling, who's had a stinker this season, and also has played a lot of football too. That's the other thing, right? We always talk about people tired going. Sterling has played, we start for City, but he's had a long, long season. And you play Saka, who's 19, who I think had 5 caps going into the tournament. Mm. That's what I find remarkable and bold. I mean, he's got the cojones to go, Jordan Henderson, the England captain, Mr. Everybody loves him. All right, you're on the bench. I'm gonna play Calvin Phillips in front of you, or Declan Rice, who has, I know West Ham won the World Cup, but still he has his limitations, right? These are really, really bold moves. Shaw, again, Ben Chilwell's not starting.
But you can only pick 11 though, can't you?
No, I know, but come on. All right, I know we all have England mania, right? But you guys all support a club side, I presume. If I could tell you, okay, playing left back on your team, playing left back for QPR, you can have Genie comes out of the bottle, and you can have James, and you can have either Chilwell or Shaw as your left back. Who would you pick? You can have either Jadon Sancho or Saka. You can have Phil Foden or Raheem Sterling. And I know he's got a history with QPR, but still. Yeah. Who would you pick? I mean, come on.
I think Shaw. I don't think Shaw Chilwell's that much of a debate, to be honest, with the season that Shaw's had. I would pick Shaw over Chilwell. I think they're. Yeah,
you think Luke Shaw. I mean, I'm not thinking for England. I'm talking for QPR at club level. You think Luke Shaw, Manchester United, is a better player than.
In terms of the season that Luke Shaw's had and the chances he's created from open play and his set pieces as well, Luke Shaw's been absolutely astounding for Man United this season. He's been absolutely brilliant. Chilwell's kind of come in and out of the side at Chelsea. I think Chilwell's great, and I think that is the thing with England itself, is that there are so many. We have the best depth in squad, but by an absolute mile. I don't think I realised that as much as we are now. Do you know what I mean?
Sorry. When you say the best depth, you mean out of the 2 finalists? You don't mean in the tournament, right?
I think it's
otherwise
very
I might need to send some French people around your house.
Fair enough. And I think France are ahead of us on that one. And I think Jules Laurent, we asked him, and he was saying, where does this England squad rank? Because us as England fans were looking at it and going, we're just looking at it through a very nervous lens. And so he said in terms of depth, we had the second best squad. And as it's gone on, I think the use of that squad has been very, very integral. Coming back to what you're saying about how curious it is with Gareth Southgate and the way that he's playing, I think, so first of all, there's a question down the line, which I'd love to talk about, which is who's kryptonite in this? Is Italy going to be England's kryptonite, or are England going to be Italy's kryptonite? But in terms of England playing defensively, the way I look at it is I don't think it's an absolute idea of we are just going to defend for our lives and then hope that we nick a goal. We had 20 shots, I think, in the last game, scored 4 goals in the game before that. What I think is quite nice and is the leaning of Southgate. So I think it's sort of 60% with a sort of pragmatic approach. But I think what that provides is, although you've not got the Grealishes and the Fodens playing, what you have is a very strong base that allows the team to press and play on the front foot. And I think every player that's there, when they are playing, they are defending on the front foot because they kind of know they've got a bit of a safety blanket, be it Kyle Walker, his recovery runs, or whoever it might be, there to kind of allow them to kind of play with that, almost that freedom defensively, because they don't think they're going to get sort of popped around. And I think that's a really clever thing that Southgate's done. The question is, with that leaning, Hugh, I'll come to you, mate. Do you think that's enough to break down an Italy side that has played proactive football, but has also had a wonderful defence as well this tournament?
Well, this is the thing. Because it's Italy, them defending brilliantly, it's almost like, well, obviously that's what Italian sides should do. And they should be so tactically well drilled as they are, so astute. Even in the games where you would say the opposition maybe had more of big swathes of it, thinking of Spain, thinking of Belgium as well, who I think played pretty well. And Italy managed to resist it. Now, we just think, oh, it's Chiellini and Bonucci. What great defenders. Donnarumma, fantastic in goal. This is what's meant to happen. But there's a distinct plan from Roberto Mancini, and they've been absolutely brilliant at it. But when it comes to England, we almost say, well, aren't England a little bit more attacking? You know, there is a difference for me in quality between the two squads. You know, whatever you want to say about the midfield areas, I think Italy have, you know, we're talking about depth, not just the three that start, Varela, Jorginho, and Verratti, but also the impact that Pessina has had in this competition, and Locatelli, of course, as well. You know, they have so many players in that area who I think can outplay ours. You know, I think Declan Rice and Calvin Phillips, as good as they are, even against Delaney and Højbjerg of Spurs and Dortmund, they found it a little bit difficult at times. And I think generally because they were a better side and a better team, the longer the game went on, the more the changes were made. I think England's quality just shone through. But actually, I think in terms of that midfield battle, had Delaney not picked up a yellow card, had he stayed on longer, I think
he should have had a yellow card after about 20 seconds, Delaney.
You know, Pierre Højbjerg looked like 1994 Dunga at times during this competition. Just knows his role and allows others around him to excel. And I just think that Italian midfield, you know, you can talk about systems, you can talk about how front foot England want to be, or how front foot Italy should be with all the talents that they have. I think in the end, quality will come to the fore.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.